twice the speed of sound. London to New York in 3.5 hours. You'd land before your watch said you'd taken off. Only 20 of them were ever built, and exactly 2 airlines on the entire planet ever put a paying passenger inside one. Concorde was the fastest airliner in human history, and today, more than 20 years after the last one flew, nothing has replaced it. You cannot buy a supersonic ticket at any price. And here's the part that really stings. The 2 airlines that flew Concorde, they barely paid for the planes at all. The most advanced passenger aircraft ever built was, in a sense, given away. So what happened? Rewind to 1954. Not a boardroom, a British research lab. Engineers at the Royal Aircraft Establishment, guided by a committee under Maurian Morgan, start chasing a question that sounded unhinged for the time. Could you build an airliner that flew faster than a rifle bullet? By 1962, it wasn't a question anymore. Britain and France signed a treaty to build it together. The estimated price tag, £70 million, split down the middle. On paper, a bargain. And that treaty is the first clue to everything that follows. Because Concorde was never really a business. It was a government science project wearing an airline's uniform. The development bills landed on the taxpayers of 2 countries, not on any airline's balance sheet. Remember that, because it explains why nobody in charge was ever forced to ask the one question a normal company asks first. Does this actually make money? On the 2nd of March 1969, a prototype clawed off the runway at Toulouse, and it was gorgeous. A long, slender delta wing shaped by an aerodynamicist named Dietrich Kuckemann, with a needle nose that drooped down so pilots could see the ground on landing. It looked like the future had shown up early. 6 more years of testing followed. Then on the 9th of October 1975, Concorde earned its French airworthiness certificate. On the 21st of January 1976, 2 Concordes lifted off at the very same moment. Air France out of Paris, British Airways out of London. Supersonic passenger travel was officially real. That May, service reached Washington Dulles, and by the 17th of October 1977, Concorde was flying the route that would define it, New York JFK. For a while, it was the most glamorous machine humans had ever hung in the sky. Champagne at Mach 2, 60,000 feet up, the curve of the Earth visible out the window. Presidents flew it, rock stars flew it, bankers who needed to be in Manhattan by lunch and back in London for dinner flew it. Concorde wasn't transport, it was a status symbol with wings. So if it was this stunning, this iconic, this desired, why did only 20 of them ever get built? This is where the fairy tale starts to crack. When the program launched, the forecast was ambitious. 350 aircraft. Airlines around the world lined up with options to buy. Pan Am, TWA, big names, roughly 100 orders penciled in. The plan was to sell Concordes the way Boeing was selling 747s. And here's the whole story in a single line. Concorde was engineered like a Formula One car, and then asked to earn a living as a city bus. Blindingly fast, financially impossible. So far, that's the story everyone tells. Brilliant plane, tragic crash, end of a golden era. But the real story is stranger than that, because Concorde's fate wasn't sealed on a runway in the year 2000. It was sealed in the 1970s, years before a single passenger was ever hurt. The first crack was noise. Concorde's sonic boom was so violent, it rattled windows and cracked plaster on the ground. So country after country banned it from going supersonic over land. That instantly killed almost every overland route. Then the 1973 oil crisis quadrupled fuel prices, and Concorde guzzled fuel like nothing else flying. The United States, developing its own supersonic jet, scrapped the idea entirely. One by one, the airlines walked, every option canceled. 350 forecast, 20 built, and the only customers left were the 2 governments that had paid for it. So Air France and British Airways flew them anyway. 7 jets each, essentially flying trophies. By 1997, a round-trip transatlantic ticket cost somewhere between $8,000 and $12,000. Sounds like a money printer, right? It wasn't. Around 100 seats per plane, savage maintenance bills, fuel costs that could make an oil baron flinch. The margins were paper-thin, held up by prestige far more than profit. And honestly, this is the part that nostalgia quietly skips over. The crash did not kill Concorde, the math killed Concorde, and the math had been broken since 1973. Everything after that was just an expensive, beautiful way of postponing the obvious. You'd assume a plane with a spotless safety record for 24 straight years could survive one terrible day. It couldn't, and the reason why is the cruelest twist in the whole story. The 25th of July, 2000. Air France Flight 4590 accelerates down the runway at Charles de Gaulle. It rolls over a thin strip of metal another aircraft had dropped minutes earlier. A tire bursts. A chunk of rubber is hurled into the fuel tank, ruptures it, and the fuel ignites. The plane is trailing fire before it even leaves the ground. Moments later, it crashes. All 109 people aboard are killed, along with 4 on the ground. It was the only fatal Concorde crash in 27 years, and it was enough. The entire fleet was grounded worldwide. For over a year, not one Concorde carried a passenger. Engineers lined the fuel tanks with Kevlar, rewired the electrics, recertified everything. In November 2001, Concorde came back, but the world it returned to had just watched 2 airliners fly into the World Trade Center. Premium air travel collapsed, and the one route that actually made money, New York, was suddenly the last place nervous, rich travelers wanted to be. In 2003, Air France and British Airways finally gave up. Sagging demand, crushing maintenance costs, a reputation cracked by the crash. On the 26th of November 2003, the last Concorde touched down for good. 27 years after that twin takeoff in 1976, supersonic passenger service simply stopped. And it has not restarted since. Here's the strange epilogue. Of the 20 Concordes ever built, 18 still exist. Parked in museums from the Smithsonian to Seattle to Bristol, wings frozen mid-flight. Kids still press their faces to the glass at a machine that flew faster than anything their parents will ever board. Companies like Boom Supersonic are now trying to revive the dream, betting they can crack the one thing Concorde never did. The business, not the physics. Because Concorde didn't die at Mach 2. It died in a spreadsheet. The Formula One car everyone adored, that nobody could afford to drive. The fastest thing in the sky, grounded by arithmetic.